Today I'm going to be checking out Bravern, the Gay Gundam. I'm only joking, it's not a Gundam. Hey, what is up everyone, welcome back to another video, and today I'm going to be taking a look at this right here. This is the Modoroid Bravern by Good Smile Company. Now we've taken a look at some Modoroid kits on the channel before, but not too many. It's always fun to try out a different brand, and especially a mecha as wild as this one right here. Now because I don't actually feature too many Brave series mech on the channel, I'm going to give a little bit of a very basic primer to get you up to date, because I also need to get up to date. So the basic gist of the Brave series is this is a mecha anime franchise originally produced by Sunrise. This dates all the way back to the 90s, 1990 to be exact, with the first ever Brave show, which was Brave X Kaiser. X Kaiser was an anime produced by Sunrise, with the mecha designs done by Kunio Okara, essentially making the Braves Gundam's little brother. So that does mean that the Brave series has been going for 35 years, Bravern right here being the newest installment. These are often featured in one of the most popular mech games out there, Super Robot Wars, and the most famous Brave of them all, of course, is Gao Gai Gar. If you want to see a review of the real grade kit, I've got one here on the channel. And just in case you haven't seen Bravern for yourself and you do want to watch it, I'm going to keep this spoiler free in regard to the plot, but I will mention one point and one point only. The pilot here, Isami Ao, is in a full-on homosexual relationship with his mecha, Bravern right here, believe it or not. So yeah, like I said at the beginning, that was a bit of a joke. It's not a Gundam, but let's check it out anyway. As always, this video right here would not have been possible without those fantastic people over at Bai, link in the description. Alright, so today, another day of build miss. This is build 14 of 50. I'm falling behind a little bit today and on the build, so I'm going to be speeding through this one a little quicker. There's Bravern. We've got such a Obari pose right there with the big old sword. And around on this side, seeing some more stuff inside. So you do have some accessories, clear parts, and overall looking quite nice. Around in the back, we've got some more information. So this has a transformation. Ooh, I might not be able to fit that in today. And we do have a whole bunch of nice images of what will look like finished, as well as multiple face options. So one thing I can always say about Good Smile Company's boxes is the kits are very nicely presented. Anyway, popping it on out, and we've got some plastic inside, of course. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 runners of plastic. The head and face options, as you can see in here, do come pre-painted for you. They do look nice. We've got a hefty sheet of stickers in here, extremely hefty. A grand total of 37 stickers to be precise. And not just one, but 2 manuals in here. So this one is a nice fold out. Oh, it's very nicely colored too. Seems like there's quite a bit of a build to this. I may be biting off a little bit more than I can chew. There is what looks to be the sticker guide, so it's going to be a quick build today, so no stickers. We'll see how that turns out. And this over here seems to show us how to do the transformation. So there is a whole manual on the actual transforming in here. That is wild. So when it does come to the plastic inside of a Modoroid box, I will mention Good Smile Company does outsource their production to China. Even though there are some phenomenal model kit manufacturers in China, case in point being SNAA, the production on these particular kits is a little on the basic side, kind of like what you would have seen from Gunpla maybe 20 or so years ago. But as for the build, first off, there is no translation in the actual manual, so these are for a 100% Japanese customer base, so it is all in Japanese, but it is easy enough to follow even without being able to read it. So starting right on into it with a bit of a leg, and I do have one complete already. Now, just as a little bit of a comparison to what we normally see on here, which is gunpla, this right here is made out of a softer kind of rubbery-esque plastic. There is ABS in the joint, so be careful with what kind of solvents you do use in it when finished. And these kits tend to prioritize mainly the overall general looks and the very vivid colors over really something like articulation or general engineering. Everything is just kind of made out of 2 parts, so there is a seam line running down pretty much everything. The nubs can be pretty lethal at times. We do have the kind of Exia style little kind of domes going on in here, and there is a silver sticker in behind those. When it comes to the bend of the limb, as you can see, the articulation is quite good. A nice double joint, rubbery, solid joints in it, and so far, so good. These kits are fairly enjoyable. As for the build though, it's a standard style kind of hinge joint for the waist, 3 bits, and they all pop together like so. Next up you build the knee armor, and I will mention there are 2 colors of clear parts inside of this kit. That is a green and a kind of greenish blue. Now this one reacts to black light, this one doesn't seem to, so that seems to be the difference between them, and you can make the choice. I went with the bluish hue. I will mention that everything in here is 2 parts sandwiched together, so you do get pretty much a seam line down everything, but it's not the worst looking. That builds directly into the knee joint there. That is the actual joint section up top, but we do have a second joint, so it is a double jointed knee. Again, like everything else, closes up out of 2 segments, seam line down the middle. The upper leg is quite simple. We've got this segment right here, and as you can see, we have a keyhole locking mechanism up top and down here, so the joints are nice and locked when assembled. Again, 2 parts, and then that keyholes onto the knee like so, and then pushes down. From here we start adding on some more of the clear parts. From here on out we're adding some of the nice shiny foil seals in behind, so they either stick onto the reverse of the actual plastic piece like this to reflect the light, or go into the inner piece like these Exia looking GN condenser sections on the sides of the knees. You pop the sticker in, green dome on top, and there you go, you've got your reflection inside of it, so you got kind of a nice bit of mirrored light inside to make it shine a little brighter. Then you pop the lower leg on like so. There is that little bit of green-blue plastic or blue-green plastic, and again 2 parts sandwiching together like that. Pop on those Exia condensers, thigh armor, the lower leg armor, and that is the leg completed, so relatively simple. This right here is the ankle joint, so once again a 3-piece joint that attaches together like so, and we've got a keyhole lock in the top. The heel armor is 2 pieces, some molded thrusters on the bottom. Pop this section in for the articulation, the ankle joint that we just built, the toe bend section, bottom foot, top of foot, top armor. Get on there. Finally then, it seems like he's got some Hermes wings on the sides of his ankles, just like so. And to finish it off, you have to keyhole this in, just like that. And then keyhole this one in to the top, and then spin, lock it into position. Finished. So moving up to the waist now. This is a very interesting design for this section. So this actually has 2 keyhole locks on either side pointing opposite directions. Then you actually flip it around, locking it in. Now, I would assume something like this wouldn't have the chance of really falling out anyway because it's sandwiched between 2 bits, but either way. This then attaches into the main body of the waist as a bit of a hinge around back, and then those 2 parts just attach together like that. The instructions get a little bit weird at this point. It tells you to pop these in here where they don't actually hold, and then tells you to do not just 1, not just 2, but 3 more steps, while apparently these are just fucking hovering in there somehow. So that means I do have to skip ahead. With these kind of irritating things, I find you're better off resting the piece that's going to hold them in, then pop these guys in so they won't fall out on you, because these are not just going to stay there. That way you have a better chance just locking them in without them going AWOL. Bit of a splash of color on here then. And the other steps they wanted you to do while those things were miraculously hovering in something that doesn't hold them in position is drop your side skirts right on the ground while giving out. You should be paying attention instead of complaining. But there are 2 of those to build. Not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5 stickers round here on the arse flap. And then add in 3 clear parts into it just like so. They do look good, however. And at the same time, these are still meant to be hovering magically in somewhere they don't actually hold. Maybe you're meant to be holding it with your feet while building this. Next up, these side skirts pop directly onto some ball joints on the butt flap. There's both. And then that attaches onto that moving arm joint at the back there. So far, so good. That is it complete. So what we have is some rotating only front skirt armors and a butt flap that moves up and completely out just like so. Moving up to the torso now, and you slap these 2 pieces together just like so. We've got a joint underneath that popped on a second ago. We're C-clipping on a little bit of armor down here, moves forward and back like that. You attach this piece onto it, which is the bottom ab crunch. This part attaches up top, so we do have 2 points of bend in there. Some more waist armor attaches on down the bottom. Now this definitely has that kind of Chinese designed or made kit where things are really rubbery and hard to squeeze together about it. Next up, we've got a chest armor attaching on in white, reflective sticker backing, big clear part, some side detailing in gray and gold, red venting, wide upper armor, and there we go. There is the body complete for now. Starting off the arm with an elbow joint, and this is the bend right here. So it is a single point, the actual joint, but we do have a second joint down here. Sandwiches in like so. Bicep armor, again 2 pieces lined down the middle. Great detail up front. Next up we've got the second joint, a bit of gold injection plastic round back. And once again closes up with those 2 pieces. Bit of a squeeze. Some circular silver stickers, and the old Exia condenser on top, both sides. Gray wrist part, connects on the rear red arm armor. Jumping up to the shoulder now, this is the shoulder joint split, then it attaches together like that. You build this little bit of a hinge, the shoulder joint attaches with a pivot, and when closed up we have this little bit of a moving part up top that can rotate, and the actual shoulder joint itself. This is the shoulder armor. You attach this lower little hinged armor piece in. That shoulder joint attaches in with this sliding mechanism. When sandwiched, what you get out of that is this extension just like so, retraction like that. Piece of gray armor attaches from above, and this is all finished off with some red armor on the front and the back. From here, we do have a whole bunch of options for hands. I'm going to go with the standard fist. So there is a wrist joint to the hand, always nice. Fist consists of 2 segments and then a rear armor segment like that. The arm then just finishes off by attaching the hand in like that, and the shoulder armor up on top just like so. So that right there is the arm once complete. So again, we do have a 2-point bend at the elbow, which is quite nice. Rotation here, extending shoulder, and some nice movement to the hand itself. Overall, pretty nicely designed. So moving on to the backpack, and you start off with some hinges. Simple ones that just attach together out of 3 pieces. You build 4 of those, there's 2 different types, and then you take the 2 you built and just slap them together like so. The inside of the rear thruster segments look like this. So we've got a clear part, 2 moving almost claw-like segments, and then this, like everything we've seen on this kit so far, sandwiches together like this. You then pop some color on with red inserting into one side, armoring onto the surface of the other, and then that joint you built attaches into it like that. Now you do build 2 of these, 1 for each side. Grabbing another sticker, grabbing another clear part, and combining them together like that. That slots into the back of the backpack segment, 2 pieces attached side by side. Some color finally attaching onto this, that is red onto the top like that. Some white then attaching up top. And finally, you attach both of those wing binder segments in on like so. And that is the backpack complete. So overall, very, very nice. We've got some clear parts, some opening, closing wing binders with a lot of articulation thanks to these cool joints. Overall, very impressive. So when it comes to the head now, there's a cross section of the first little bit of build. So we have a cup joint, some gold from the crown of the head, and then this simply sandwiches between 2 pieces. A lot of squeezing. The faces for this kit come pre-molded and pre-painted. Same with the front plate of the head. I'm gonna go for face A here. It is nicely tagged up in the corner. Just nip that off. And this just pushes on in here, almost like an action figure, as it does look a bit like an action figure's face. This part right here, this is painted too, very nicely I might add. Slides on, does feel a bit rubbery compared to the actual plastic, looking good. The antenna is also pre-painted, but this is actually pre-painted on the runner. That attaches on like so. You did have to add a sticker from the little red section just over the antenna. There's a cross section of what's inside the neck. So we do have a joint up top, a white bit of color in the front. This attaches on like that. And to finish it off, you just throw the head up on top like so. So this is looking pretty damn good out of box. And finally, there we go. There is all the parts, I guess, that make up the Bravern. So time to pop it together. Starting with the waist right here, it is a peg joint that attaches into that, just pushes on in. The head is a separate unit to this section right here, probably just something to do with the transformation unit later on. Pushes down in, kind of awkward because I don't want to be pushing on the top of the head too much because I don't want to damage it. It is definitely somewhat delicate. Next up is the legs. There's no mechanism in the actual hips on this. It's just standard peg into hole again. Everything is very rubbery and ABS-y, so a lot of squeezing. I'll also mention another thing I didn't notice while building this. This has that kind of shite all over it that I hate. I don't know what it is, if it's a mold release or something like that that's on the surface of the plastic. So it starts building up, I don't know if you'll see it there, on your hands, and it kind of dries out your skin and irritates a bit. It's kind of shitty. This is definitely something you see on kind of cheaper manufactured kits. Never see something like that in a Bandai kit, by the way. You also wouldn't see it on something like an SNAA kit either, so it is a bit weird. If you've ever seen people before in either videos or maybe on posts or something like that washing their runners in soapy water before painting the kit, that's because of this kind of shite. Definitely does make it a little bit on the unpleasant side to build and to handle to some degree, but what you do get in the end looks pretty damn good. Some of the armor plates are separating again. With these kind of kits that are made out of a rubbery or plastic, things tend to kind of move away from each other over time as they kind of rubbery off each other. But overall, not too bad. So now that the Modroid Bravern is complete, this is what it looks like out of box, and I've done nothing to it. The only thing I've added onto this is some of the stickers, mainly just the ones up on the shoulders and the clavicle vents. We'll mention these don't stick that well, so they do feel like they're peeling off, but at the same time, they almost look like plastic, so if they'd just been done a little bit better, these would have been some seriously nice stickers. So the black sections up on the shoulders. Overall, the aesthetics right here are the strongest aspect, definitely. This does look incredible. The combination of a model kit with a fully painted, almost figure-like face works out so well. We've got lots of clear parts all over the place with those nice silvered stickers underneath, so they reflect very nicely. The colors on here are vivid. There aren't really much in the lines of nub marks. You do have to snip twice. It makes a big difference on this kit if you snip twice or once, more so than gunpla, but once you snip twice, they're pretty much negligible. I will mention when it comes to the stickers in here, they're mainly for the recessed vents as well as for on stuff like the weaponry. Overall, the robot itself right here goes relatively unscathed. And what can I say? It looks like Bravern and it's a nice kit. So just in case you are more familiar with Gunpla than you are with Modoroids, there it is beside two Gundam model kits. The high-grade Oryx 78-2 as well as the master-grade Oryx 78-2 3.0. So as you can see, it's more almost the size of a master-grade kit than a high-grade kit. So it is a big enough model kit. There they are stacked again just for a little bit of a different perspective, and as you can see, fairly large when it does come to a small scale model kit. When it does come to the articulation in here, it is good, not great. Now there are some moving parts I didn't actually realize at this point, like the upper thigh armor can move more, like the actual thigh armor can move out away from the legs, which will mean you're not getting the clashing I'm getting here between the upper thigh armor and those skirting armors. Overall, you kind of put a lot more time into actually building all of the joints and all of the movement on this kit than you actually get out of it in the end, which does feel a little bit on the disappointing side. Overall, you will get some good poses out of it, which I'll show in a minute, but it does feel limited in some aspects, especially in the ab crunch zone. But this is what we got out of this standard usual pose. Now finally getting into some poses with its weapons and a little bit of a commentary on what comes included inside of the box. So when you do get this into some poses, it does kill some poses, definitely. In some it does look a little bit awkward, and overall the posing experience is quite good. All the joints are very fluid, they're quite strong on top of that, and every pose I've put it in, it's stayed in them. Now there are a couple of sus joints up on the wings that feel like they might be a break risk because they're not a great design, but overall it works out nicely. When it comes to the accessories we do have in here, we've got the standard version of the sword. This is missing some color. There's a red sticker for the length of it, which may turn out well because there's no angles where you stick that on, like up on the shoulders. We do have some nice expressive hands in here. I just went for the widespread one, but we do have fists, holding hands, and one pointing hand for the right hand. Next up in here, we do have a big axe as well. This attaches in very easily. Again, everything grips on perfectly. There's a lot of ABS in this kit, which is good for grip. Not so good if you are going to paint or pan line it, I might add. And I will mention there are some colors missing on the axe as well. The blade is meant to have two tones to the actual cutting edge on it and some reflective green as well, but overall it comes out nice, not fantastic. Holds on well, poses well, and looks great in the hand. The next thing we do have in here is this optional part. This is for parts forming this into the flight form, which I won't be taking a look at today because for me today was just about building this, not necessarily about reviewing it. This is just a little bit of a bonus commentary on the kit. Basically, you just pull out the torso of the kit, pop all the parts on, and it transforms into a flight form. Lastly then, and probably the coolest and most over-the-top aspect inside this box, and it really does show that this is an Obari mecha right here. And that is the giant massive sword. Now, there are two blades included in here, just like everything we would have seen, but you use the green one. And I will mention that the green colors in here do react under blacklight. So if you do pop in the other green clear parts, it will glow just like this is. Now, this is in blacklight, it's under right here. This is just regular old blue LED light. So if you've got some LEDs around in whatever room you're displaying it with, pop them in a kind of darker blue, this will glow up a storm. So far, right now, just in the blade, but it's killing that Obari pose entirely. Again, on the whole, a very nice kit. The visuals are very nice. The build is simple, but to the point. The accessories in here are quite nice. You will have to use some stickers or paint on some of them to get them to look absolutely accurate, and the articulation on it is very good. A little awkward in some regards, but overall very good. It's a pretty cool kit. I don't personally build Modroid kits all that often, but any ones I have built so far have been quite impressive. Very different from Gunpla if you wanted to try something else. The model kit engineering isn't quite as nice, but the overall result is a very nice displayable killer looking model kit, and if that's what you want at the end of the day, that is exactly what you get. Anyway, I got this kit right here through those awesome people over at Buy. If you want one of your own, you'll find one there, link in the description. As always, make sure to come back again tomorrow for another model kit build, as I am trying to blast through a load for Build Miss. This was built, I think it's 15 of 50, if not 16 of 50 at this point. I really do need to keep track. As always, this video right here and every single video I make would not be possible without each and every one of you guys who watches this video, and special thanks at the end of this video right here to those who support on the channel memberships as well as over on Patreon, including Caleb Engelhart, Joe, OG59061, Scotty Thomas, and Simon.